Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Welcome everyone to ISKCON of Silicon Valley. Whoever said we need a bigger place, I don't know what you're talking about. Srila Prabhupada is our founder Acharya, and what he afforded all of us was an opportunity to associate with Vaishnavas, which is the greatest wealth of life. Pravadvida Bhagavatas Tirtha Bhuta Swayam Vibho Tirtha Kurvanti Tirtani Svantaksnena Gadaprata. Yudhishthira said to Vidura that wherever you go, you purify even the holy places because you carry the Supreme Personality of Godhead within your heart. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, before you see the sun, you see the sunrise, or the light coming from the horizon, announcing the sun. And if you've seen that, you know that you'll see Krishna next. Therefore, in our Vaishnava literatures, even Krishna worships the Vaishnavas and appreciates them more than he appreciates his own self. When Krishna went to visit Matila, and he was being glorified by Shrutidev, Krishna stopped him and said, "No, please glorify the saints who have come here to your house. Don't glorify me." So it's the greatest occasion when a pure Vaishnava who's preaching Krishna consciousness all over the world, fully dedicated without another care in the world except for seeing that his spiritual master's mission can be spread to every village of the world, who gives personal care to people wherever he goes. Srila Radhanath Swami has been preaching Krishna consciousness from the early 70s and has maintained a standard and brought his communities wherever he goes to a standard that the rest of the world pursues, inculcating in them the highest qualities of humility, compassion, and the ethic of carrying on the order of the spiritual master, come what may. Because in organizations, wherever there's people, there are always changes that take place that are onerous. We thank you very much, Maharaj, first of all, for walking the earth. Second of all, most importantly, for coming here to ISKCON of Silicon Valley and blessing us with your presence. Please give Srila Radhanath Maharaj the warmest of ISV welcomes.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Prasajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Prasajana Ranjana Jamuna Dhira Panachari Jamuna Dhira Panachari ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा तथा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपां साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं हरिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादाः सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चना गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे। नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशधारिणे। Hare Krishna. I am very grateful and very honored and happy to be with you in ISKCON, Silicon Valley, Shri Radha Madan Mohan Temple. My special gratitude, Vaisheshika Prabhu Nirakula Devi, for somehow or other, I don't know how you do it, but you inspire one of the most beautiful, wonderful, illustrious communities in all of the world. And thank you for so mercifully allowing me to be a little part of this beautiful devotee community. And my special, special gratitude to all of you who are the community. A community of devotees can be appreciated by how each devotee sincerely cares about each other devotee. On behalf of our gurus, Srila Prabhupada and Krishna. Vaisheshika Prabhu, in his beautiful introduction, I'm kind of just giving a purport to his introduction. When Krishna came to Mithila with so many great devotees, and the Brahman Shrutadev was glorifying him, Krishna revealed not only to this one person, but to the whole world for all time to come, that he's even more pleased when we honor and respect and love those who love him. In this age of Kali, where the all-pervading general influence is for people to find any excuse, or even if there's no excuse, to quarrel, to fight, to compete, to prove who is better, who knows more, who has done more, who is right, who is wrong. There is so much conflict in the world. And Bhagavad Gita was spoken on a battlefield. Could anyone hear me? Could anyone not hear me? I guess if you can't hear me, you won't answer my question. But Srila Prabhupada and our acharyas describe how this essential summary of all the Vedic literatures, the Bhagavad Gita, was spoken in the context of a battlefield. And it's not that there was imminent war, hatred, envy, arrogance, greed. It was against those influences that the battle was going to be fought. And sometimes we think when we become devotees, everything is going to be really nice. But Krishna spoke the whole Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. And he spoke it in a way that others could hear too. It's not that there was going to be a battle and Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita, and then the Kurus and the Pandavas, they all offered obeisances to one another. And they embraced. And Duryodhana said, Yudhishthira Maharaj, I'm your servant. In fact, I want to be the servant of your servants. The battle still happened. And it was a very difficult battle. Because that's the context of the world we live in. However much we become devotees, there will always be conflict around us. But what is a devotee community? Which is the greatest benediction to the whole world. Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Lord Chaitanya prayed that this chanting of Shri Radharani and Shri Krishna's names, God's names, is the prime benediction for all humanity. And he says, Sankirtan, Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtan. which means when devotees are chanting the holy names together. That's community. The very word Sankirtan from a particular perspective means where devotees are united on the principle of pleasing Krishna by keeping Krishna in the very center of our lives. And the battle happened, but Arjuna, he went through that battle. He went through life keeping Krishna in the center. He was performing his duty without greed, without arrogance, without vengeance, although he had every right to be vengeful. Without hate. He was doing according to Krishna's supreme wisdom what would bring the greatest peace, compassion to the whole world. And we find Ramayana and so many of the stories of Srimad Bhagavatam, Puranas, even the Old Testament. There's so much the scenario of conflict. And what does it mean to have dignity, integrity? What does it really mean to put Krishna in the center of our lives? Sincerity is calculated not by how nice things are going around us, but how we preserve the sanctity of our values, of what pleases Krishna in whatever situation comes. Bhagavad Gita teaches us not to be particular. Matras bharashastu konteya sitos nasukadukada. Sometimes it's burning hot summer season. Sometimes it's freezing cold winter season. Sometimes there's pleasure, pain, honor, dishonor, success, failure, victory, defeat. Sometimes all around us there's compassion and respect. And sometimes there's envy, disrespect. Sometimes there's great trust. And other times in life, there's the extreme heartbreak of betrayal. It's the nature of this world. And becoming God conscious or Krishna conscious means to transcend, to live according to the values of what will please Krishna in all circumstances. Samsiddhir Haritoshna. And to feel profound care and compassion for all living beings as we make spiritual advancement. Srila Prabhupada explains the symptom of spiritual advancement. The more our love, our devotion, our service is pleasing the root of the tree, Krishna, the more our love and our concern expands to our family, to our community, to our country, to our world, to humanity, to all living beings. The more we recognize the beauty of our own soul. Why is our soul beautiful? Because it's part and parcel of Krishna, who is all beautiful. Mamaivam so jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. When Krishna tells every living being is my fragmental part, Sri Jiva Goswami, Srila Prabhupada quoted, like the sun is emanating limitless rays, and every sun ray is qualitatively beautiful and full of light and heat like the sun in a small part. So the more we understand the beauty of Krishna, the love of Krishna, the compassion of Krishna, the more we actually, truly understand the beauty of our own self, our own soul. There is so much depression in this world, and so much guilt, and sometimes people feel so bad about themselves, and then to try to somehow or other deal with that, either depression or arrogance, where we're trying to prove that we're not so bad. We're trying to prove that we're better than others and we're greater than others. And this leads to not only conflicts in families and among communities, but it leads to wars, to slaughter of lives, just to somehow feel importance. But in the school of Dharma, Jaiva Dharma, the more we become attracted to Krishna, Krishna's supreme opulences, all attractive, the more we realize, experience, and appreciate the beauty of our own soul. And nothing could change that. Nothing we've ever done, nothing anyone else can do. If a nuclear bomb falls directly on your head, cannot disturb the beauty of your eternal soul. Why? Because it's part of Krishna. And when we say when you water the root of the tree, then the whole tree flourishes, the more we understand Krishna's all-attractive, loving nature, the more we understand how beautiful we are, beyond all the changes of the body, beyond all the changes of this restless mind. But that's only one part. As we appreciate Krishna's beauty, we appreciate the beauty of our own self. But the more we actually appreciate the beauty of our own soul, there will not be arrogance. The more we'll see, wherever there's life, there is that same part and parcel, beautiful soul. Because every living being is part and parcel of Krishna. And when we speak about compassion from a spiritual perspective, this is the opportunity of the intimacy of the compassion that Krishna gives us. When there's self-realization, there's the realization of the priceless value and limitless beauty of the soul wherever the souls exist, because they're part of Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his most expansive teaching was in Varanasi on the bank of Ganga, Ganges River, to Sri Sanatana Goswami. And he begins with this simple principle, and then he expands upon it. Jivera Swarupoi Krishnera Nityadas. The nature of every soul, of every spark of life, is we are eternally servants of Krishna. And as he expands on those teachings, we understand there's only one type of service that really pleases Krishna. Bhaktya mam abhijanati, bhaktya tvananya yashakyas. Krishna doesn't need money. Krishna doesn't need fame. Krishna doesn't need our skills or our talents or our strength. When we compare ourselves to other people in this world, there's a lot of competition. But when we think of ourselves in terms of God, and Krishna revealed all of his opulences in full, we see the world, we see nature, we see life itself in relationship with the love of Krishna. Because Krishna is the only service that satisfies Krishna is that which is offered with love and devotion. He doesn't need anything else. He doesn't want anything else. And the beautiful story Vaisheshika Prabhu was referring to, there was a king, Bahulasva, who had an entire kingdom, a magnificent palace. And there was a simple person named Shrutadev. He just lived in a little hut. And they both invited Krishna to their homes. One lived in a little one-room hut with no furniture and had to go out and beg for food. And the other was living in a magnificent palace with beautiful thrones and tables and chairs, and he had such the finest cooks in all of the kingdom. Whose house would you go to? Krishna wanted to teach the world such a beautiful lesson. It's not that he thought, oh, Shrutadev's so poor, he's so humble, I'll go to his house. And he wasn't thinking, I'll definitely get better food at Bahulasva's. And Bahulasa was giving all precious gifts, and Shrutadev was. Krishna saw their love and devotion. That's all he sees. So he decided to go to both of their houses. Now for you and me, we can't do that. But Krishna's Achintya Shakti, he divided himself in two without dividing himself. He simply simultaneously went to both houses at the same time. and Shrutadev and Bahulasma wanted to serve all the sages and the rishis and the yogis that came with them. And Krishna had all the yogis, sages, and rishis have two forms to go to both houses. And the sages and rishis and yogis and all of them, none of them knew that they had two forms. Each one was thinking, I'm at Bahulaswa's house. And at the same time, they were thinking, I'm at Shrutadev's house. And they didn't even know what they were thinking. That's Krishna. That's how Krishna reciprocates with the love of his devotees. Bahulaswa offered throne. Shrutadev gave a little grass mat. Bahulasma had beautiful golden handled chamaras fanning him. And Shrutadev, he just took his cloth and went like this. Like that. And Bahulasva got the finest entertainments in the entire kingdom. Wonderful, wonderful musicians and wonderful dancers. And it was just the most magnificent concert. And Shrutadev, he was just singing and dancing himself. But Krishna accepted both of them equally because they were both offering with bhakti, with love, with devotion. That's what pleases Krishna. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopisha Kankana Radha Kanta Namostate. Before we could understand Gopisha and Radha Kanta, Krishna, the lover of Sri Radha and the Lord of all the gopis. First, it's Hey Krishna. We're crying out for Karuna Sindhu. Dinabandhu Jagatpate. Krishna is an ocean of kindness, karuna, an ocean of compassion. And being a part of Krishna, we're a drop of that same quality. The actual character of becoming purified is not just an imaginative, intellectual idea of who we are in this spiritual world. That is revealed to us by Krishna and Sri Radha and the Acharya's grace. But first, Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu, we're part and parcel of Krishna. We're eternal servant of Krishna. We are here to extend Krishna's compassion in this world. Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu. He's the friend and the well-wisher of even the most fallen. Jagatpate. Ultimately, Jagatpate means ultimately the intrinsic essence of every soul is to surrender to Krishna, to surrender to the Supreme Lord. And surrender doesn't mean just obedience. It means to serve with devotion. So I'm quite speechless being with all of you and seeing your wonderful community. But I want to congratulate you. I want to congratulate and thank each and every one of you for being part of a beautiful community. And beyond your own recollection, your community is inspiring the whole world. and the vibration that is emanating from this beautiful temple in Mountain View, and all of your different programs, and your incredible example of distributing Srila Prabhupada's books. There's a whole revolution of book distribution all over the world. And as far as I could see, the nucleus, what is it called, the ground zero, where it's all emanating from, is Madan Mohan Temple in Mountain View, California, ISKCON, Silicon Valley. And here, it's emanating from Vaisheshika Prabhu and Nirakula Devi's heart, their gratitude to Srila Prabhupada and their love, and all of you being influenced by that, and sharing above everything else, above all the reasons that we have to be disappointed in everything in this world. You're all so enthusiastic and excited, at least sometimes. You have that opportunity, and that's just wonderful. It's really inconceivable what is happening in this little temple and in your homes. Thank you. I'd like to share a story. A story I'm just meditating upon, seeing the ISV community. I'm sorry, I'm not good with initials. Anytime people say ISV, I think about the emergency ward in Bhaktivedanta Hospital. They're giving IVs and but actually the same spirit is there, you know. The emergency ward of the hospital, it's an emergency, and it's not that you think, well, you know, the community at the hospital, if somebody's coming and they're about to die, they don't think, well, you know, I have some rounds to chant. You know, there's something good on television. They're there. They're there 24 hours a day to help people. So the world is in an emergency situation. And the world needs IV, intravenous. And what is that intravenous? Enechiya shadi maya nashi barolagi, harinama mahamantra lao tumi magi. The holy names of God, Krishna's name. And that literature of Krishna's teachings and Krishna's pastimes, which inspire us with faith in the holy names, Srila Prabhupada's books. You're giving IV in an emergency ward when you're out distributing those books. So now, after convincing myself today, I'll start saying ISV. ISKCON, Silicon Valley. But there's a beautiful narration that I'm remembering, and I'd love to share, that we've all heard. Lord Chaitanya is Krishna. Krishna comes in the role of a devotee to teach us by his words and by his example how to love Krishna, how to serve Krishna, how to please the Lord. And in Navadvip he established the Harinam Sankirtan. And he began just with his closest, most intimate, loving, pure-hearted associates in Srivasangam. And for 1 year, it was just a small group of Paramhamsas, completely enlightened lovers of God that would chant together. And they were establishing that this kirtan is not just a process of purification. Golokera Premadana Harinam Sankirtan. It's an eternal pastime of the spiritual world. And Kaviraj Goswami, the author of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, he describes that the kirtans in the house of Srivas, they would be chanting and dancing. They would be chanting this Maha Mantra and so many other names of the Lord. It was non-different than the Rasa Lila of Vrindavan Dham. It was the highest, most intimate revelation of Radha and Krishna's love with their intimate associates that was being experienced and shared in the form of chanting and dancing. Srila Prabhupada said we should learn to chant like that little baby. When a baby is in desperate condition and needs mother, the baby doesn't go, Mama. The baby doesn't go, mm-mm. The baby goes like what we just experienced. Cries. The crying of a child that's actually really in a desperate condition is not just something coming from the mouth. The entire being of that little baby is crying for the mother's protection. And ye yatamam prapadyante tams tataiva bhajamya. According to how we're surrendering to Krishna, who has descended in these divine names, that is how Krishna will reciprocate. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first established the Sankirtan movement with his most intimate, loving associates. Nityananda, who's Balaram, Gadadhar is Srimati Radharani, Advaita Charya, Sadashiva, Mahavishnu. But it describes when he would chant kirtan, he would be so much in the mood of a gopi, chanting the holy names. And actually, what Srila Prabhupada taught us, raising our arms, singing the same names, we're doing the same thing. The difference is the consciousness. And then when people of the town were really eager to hear, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spread the holy names and taught the common townspeople of Navadvip this Harinam Sankirtan. And he sent Haridas Thakur, Nityananda Prabhu, to every house, everywhere. And we know the story of Chandkazi when there was a lot of very serious aversion. The legal power of the military, the police, and the state came down with laws against any public chanting. And they were intimidating, beating, arresting, breaking murdangas. It was really a commotion. We read about it. But for these people of Navadvip, it was real. They came to Lord Chaitanya and they said, please give us permission to leave this place. We can't not follow your instruction to chant, But we can't live with this chanting because our whole families, our homes, our properties, it will all be destroyed. We'll all be in prison, being beaten. We can't. Then Lord Chaitanya said, today I will lead the Sankirtan party. And he did. And Srila Prabhupada would love to explain what was Lord Chaitanya's influence. He was only about 18 years old. And he was a teacher. But he had such influence that he said, this is in the morning, he said, this evening, everyone come and bring a torch. There was no Instagrams. How do you spread the word? There was no cell phones. There was no television. There was no radio. There wasn't even printing presses in those days. But within a couple hours, hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people gathered at Lord Chaitanya's front door with torches. They had such faith in him. He had such influence. And his influence, he wasn't displaying material powers. He wasn't a politician. His influence was his parama karuna, pahunduijana. His influence was his love. People had so much faith in him because they felt he loves us so much. Even if the whole army and the whole military, nobody knew everybody was going to come. They all were just ready to lay down their lives because they had such faith in Lord Chaitanya's love and compassion, and they all assembled. And what a kirtan that was. They were all chanting. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for the first time in the history of the world, he was publicly dancing for everyone to see. And even though there were hundreds and thousands, some say millions, even demigods were disguising themselves to come down and participate. Everyone could see Lord Chaitanya. And it's not that all of a sudden he grew into this huge form that stood in, there wasn't big projectors going, like they do at concerts these days so you could see better. He's God. Krishna could dance with so many gopis, and every gopi is thinking, he's only with me. Lord Chaitanya could dance, and everybody could see him. And everybody that could see him fell in love with Krishna. Everyone that could see him, they surrendered their hearts and their souls to Sri Sri Radha Govinda as they chanted very loudly with their arms raised the holy names. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And when they arrived at the Chandkazi's house, it's a beautiful story. Chandkazi, he saw so many hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people surrounding his house, loudly chanting the holy names. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates, Lord Chaitanya was so enthusiastic in the role of a devotee, he would sometimes chant, and it had the volume of millions of lions roaring. No sound system could ever be turned up that high. not even at stadiums. Millions of lions simultaneously, such a loud roar, and yet it didn't hurt anyone's ears. It was so sweet. It was so sweet and purifying to the heart. John Kazi was looking for his soldiers. They were hiding. Some of them came back and said, "You better leave this place." And ultimately, he met with Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya could have, he could have invoked a Sudarshan chakra. "You broke mridungas, you hurt my devotees." Chand Kazi said, "I'm sorry." He surrendered. Srila Prabhupada quotes from the Ramayana, Lord Ram, that anyone who once with a sincere heart says, "My Lord, I am yours," I will give protection and shelter to that person for all of eternity. This is my promise. This is my vow. If we could just one time chant the holy names with that sincerity, that's Krishna's promise. And Krishna's the absolute truth. His promise is supreme, perfect, forever. The Chand Kazi became such a devotee that even today, 500 years later, devotees are going to his tomb to offer their love and their gratitude to him. And he proclaimed, from this day on, in this whole land of Nadia, there will be complete freedom for all your devotees to chant and dance in the streets or anywhere you like. Such a success. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was thinking about every living being throughout the universe. He took sannyas. He left his eternal consort, Vishnu Priya, his eternal mother, Sachimata, who was at the time in the role of a widow. And he was the only child. Just to spread Krishna consciousness to you, to me, and to the people of this world. He went to Puri. And then Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describes very beautiful Lord Chaitanya's tour of South India. He wouldn't bring any of his close associates because he wanted to just exemplify the life of a devotee and live as a sannyasi and spread Harinam and Krishna Prema. And as I believe Vaisheshika Prabhu at Sadhu Sangha retreat, you were describing how Lord Chaitanya was chanting Krishna, 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 hey. Yes? So the best I could do is try to imitate what I hear from Vaisheshika Prabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was just chanting Krishna's name in his ecstasy of love for Krishna and sharing it with everyone he saw. And whoever he would meet on the roadside, whether they were young or old, whether they were from high castes or low castes or no castes, just chant the names of Krishna. You are an eternal soul. You're part of Krishna. The only true happiness, Ananda, is to love Krishna, to feel Krishna's love, chant the names of Krishna. And anyone who saw him dancing and witnessed the tears of his compassion for them, their hearts melted and they chanted the holy names. And Lord Chaitanya would feel so grateful to them. He would embrace them. Can you imagine somebody who's a multi-billionaire and you're a beggar and you agree to take a donation from them and they embrace you with supreme gratitude for accepting their donation? Well, that doesn't even compare to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the source of Narayan, Lakshmipati, giving love of God to people who are suffering terribly. And Mahaprabhu Sri Chaitanya is embracing and crying because he's so grateful you have accepted the love I'm giving. That is Patita Pavana Avatar. And those people would go back to their villages and they would be chanting, and and they were doing the same thing. They were sharing Krishna's name and Krishna's service and Krishna's love. And in this way, millions and millions of people were being transformed. And he came to a place called Kurmakshetra, where there's a temple of Kurma, one of the great avatars of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's Radha Bhavaduti Suvalitam Nomi Krishna Swarupam. He's Krishna with the Mahabhav, the ecstatic love of Sri Radha, and radiating with the complexion of her love. And when he sing Kurma, but he sing Krishna in Kurma. And he's ecstatically dancing. And we see that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was in his South India tour, he went to Varaha temples, and he went to Shiva temples, and he went to Durga temples, and he went to Kali temples. He went to so many different temples. He went to Hanuman temples, and he was dancing and singing in ecstasy because he was seeing Sri Radha is seeing her beloved Krishna and feeling that presence of Krishna in all of these wonderful avatars. So as Lord Chaitanya was singing, dancing ecstatically, so many people came around, and the whole village came. And anyone who saw him, and anyone who was touched by his limitlessly merciful glance and heard the pure name emanating from his loving heart, they were transformed. And soon there were thousands and thousands of people with their arms raised, chanting the holy names of the Lord. And it specifically tells in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Mahaprabhu would call out to everyone, raise your arms very high and loudly chant the holy names. When people from all of other villages heard about this, they all come running here. And when they went back to their villages, the same thing happened in their own villages. It's parampara system. And after so many hours of wonderful, loving kirtan, he just brought a whole community of people together beyond any material considerations, qualifications, disqualifications. Everyone was completely united as servants and servants of one another, seeing Krishna's presence in each other's heart, loving and caring for each other throughout the difficulties of material life, chanting the holy names. Srila Prabhupada described book distribution as the same principle. It's Nam Sankirtan, spreading. Srila Prabhupada quoted his Guru Maharaj, Brihat Mridanga, the very, very loud, large Mridanga. And what Vaisheshika Prabhu and Nirakula and all the devotees here are, and Vijay Prabhu is here with us today. He's a personification of one who has so much faith and devotion to Sankirtan in book distribution. Anyone who assists these great souls, please know you become my life and soul. When finally Lord Chaitanya came to external consciousness, the pujari gave Lord Chaitanya prasad. And he continued his South Indian journey in the same way. And he came to one village where he met a Brahmin named Kurma. And Kurma invited Lord Chaitanya to his home. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describes when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was traveling in South India. He did the same thing everywhere he was going. He would just chant and dance and give people this instruction to chant and share the holy names and share Krishna's teachings with each other. And that's where he did wherever he went. And at nights, if there was a temple on the side of the road, he would sleep in the temple. And if a pure-hearted person would invite him to their homes for prasad, he would go to their homes. So Kurma invited Lord Chaitanya to his home. And when Lord Gauranga entered his house, Kurma washed Lord Chaitanya's feet. And then he sprinkled that water on his own head and then sprinkled it on all of his family members. And then he sat Lord Chaitanya down for prasad and fed him the best that they had. And then he shared those remnants with all of his family and friends. And Kurma offered beautiful prayers. He said, "My Lord, Lord Brahma is always meditating on your lotus feet. And today your lotus feet have come to step in my home." Think about that. Lord Brahma in Brahma Loka is meditating and yearning to be in contact with Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And now he's in this little home of a Brahmin. He said, there is no possibility of calculating the unlimited good fortune that I have today. Today, my family, my life, and all my riches have become glorious because you have come to my home. And then he prayed, "My Lord, I only have one favor to ask of you. Please, let me go with you wherever you go. I can no longer bear the waves of suffering and misery of materialistic life. I want to go with you. Lord Chaitanya's response is so important for us to deeply impress within our hearts. He said, "Do not ever speak that way again." He said, "You should remain home with your family and always chant the holy names of Krishna." Yare deka tare kaha Krishna upadesha maragoi guru hoy tare desh. Whoever you meet, according to your capacity, share this message of Krishna, according to Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, and chant the holy names. And if you do this, if you surrender to the instruction I'm giving you, there will be no obstacles to your spiritual progress while living with your family in your home. If you just follow these teachings, try to always chant the names of Krishna, the names of God, and share this message of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam with others. Lord Chaitanya said, "I will always be living in your home. We will meet here. We will always be together." And this was the same teaching Lord Chaitanya gave to everyone, everywhere he went for the next 2 years during his tour. And after passing some time in Kurma's house, some hours, Lord Chaitanya left. And what did Kurma do? He went with the Lord. He couldn't give up the association of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And they went a distance. And then Lord Chaitanya very caringly told him, "Go home and follow my teachings." And Kurma went home. Now it is explained that close by there was a man named Vasudev. He was suffering from a very acute state of leprosy. His leprosy was so severe that his flesh was literally rotting. And there were living worms filling his body and eating him away. They had their own community. And he was their food. But Vasudev was such an enlightened person. If a single worm would fall out of his body onto the ground, with such love, care, and sincere concern, he was seeing a brother and a sister. He was seeing a spirit soul. He was seeing a child of God in the heart of that worm. And the worms were eating his body. We have a long way to go if we're fighting. We're trying to kick out devotees. Vasudev picked up that worm, and he would carefully place it in the exact place of his body that it fell from. Now, we cannot imitate. We're not supposed to imitate. But that's the extent of the heart of a compassionate devotee. If we imitate, we'll die. If you have worms, go to a doctor. But when we go to the doctor and take the medicine, how humbled we should be. So Vasudev heard the news that Lord Chaitanya had come to the house of Kurma. Now, just by his love and devotion, just hearing about Lord Chaitanya's coming to the house of Kurma and his pastimes, he had total faith that he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and with great trouble in the morning, he came to Kurma's house. But when he arrived, Lord Chaitanya had already left. So he fell unconscious. It was the once in a lifetime. He wasn't coming to ask to be cured. He was coming to surrender his heart, his life. And when he fell unconscious, Lord Chaitanya, who had already walked a distance away, Ishvara sarvabhutanam hrideshya tishtati. He's within everyone's heart. And he reciprocates with our love. He turned around and came all the way back to Kurma's house just to meet Vasudev. And Lord Chaitanya embraced Vasudev. As soon as he was embraced, Vasudev became cured of leprosy. In fact, his body became beautiful, effulgent with devotion. He achieved love of Krishna. And he was so humbled. He offered a beautiful prayer, which is the same prayer that Sudama Vipra offered to Krishna in Dwarka. He said, "Who am I? Just a very simple, poor, sinful, insignificant little Brahmin. And who are you? You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the husband of the goddess Fortune, the Almighty Lord. And yet, with your arms, you embraced me. Therefore, I can understand who you are. No one else could ever do this." He said, "My body is so infected with this leprosy. It's rotting. It's totally ugly and deformed." And he said, "The smell of my body and its rotting flesh is so strong that anybody I come near, they run away. They can't tolerate the smell of it. And yet, you came all the way back and you embraced me. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead." And Vasudev was thinking in his heart, he didn't say anything, that now anybody who sees me, they're going to know that the Supreme Lord performed a miracle just for me. How will I not become proud? This is quite relevant to many of us. Sometimes we do something good and we think, "Oh, I'm better than others." We do the best we possibly can because it pleases Krishna. And in pleasing Krishna, our heart becomes purified. And as our heart becomes purified, we can please Krishna even more. I'm just looking at this beautiful garland and the garlands on the deities. And what? This is magnificent. It's the spiritual world. So much care, so much thought. It's not only to offer to Krishna, but so that all the devotees will be so happy to see Krishna happy. So Vasudeva was actually very worried that the Lord incarnated and came to perform this incredible miracle just for me. I might become proud. I might think I'm superior to someone else. And Lord Chaitanya in his heart understood what he was thinking. And he said, do not worry. You will never be a victim of Maya or false pride if you always chant the holy names of Krishna and you try to inspire others to be Krishna conscious by sharing Krishna's message. And then Lord Chaitanya left. And when the Lord left, Vasudeva and Kurma, they were embracing one another, just celebrating each other's good fortune. Now, realistically, Kurma wanted to go with Lord Chaitanya. But Lord Chaitanya said, no, you stay home. That's what pleases me. Kurma was with Lord Chaitanya a few hours in his whole life. There's no record of Kurma going to Jagannath Puri. There's no record of Kurma going to Vrindavan. There's no record of Kurma ever seeing Lord Chaitanya again. Even though Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was still in this world for probably another 23 years after he met Kurma, Kurma was completely immersed in the association of Lord Chaitanya by following his instructions, by serving him, by pleasing him. How many of us could bear meeting Lord Chaitanya, falling in love with him, and then he leaves us forever, and we just go on with our service? Kurma was truly feeling Lord Chaitanya's love and his presence in his service and separation. And everyone else, except for a few who came, Radhanath Bhatta Goswami and Pramodananda Saraswati, a few people came to meet, but even Radhanath Bhatta Goswami, Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Gopal Bhatta Goswami met Lord Chaitanya in Srirangam, and he never saw Lord Chaitanya again. He was instructed to go to Vrindavan after his parents passed away. What does it mean to serve Krishna? What does it mean to serve our gurus? In this particular section of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Prabhupada gives very deep and profound purports. Because they were so grateful to receive the holy name of Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya wanted them to share it with others. They made that their life and souls. To personally always chant. Vasudeva and Kurma, among devotees, they were always chanting. And they were always, according to the capacity, sharing this message with others. They knew Lord Chaitanya's power of kindness to every living being, and they wanted to be part of that. That was what pleased the Lord. And Srila Prabhupada describes, he was living in his home. Kurma Brahman appeared to be quite wealthy too. Samsara vishanale divanishahiya jwale. But even if we're rich, even if we're famous, even if we're successful and expert in whatever we do, still we're going to be burnt by the flames of material existence. Dukkalaya mashashrutam. And there's no material arrangement we can make to pacify that with any sustainability. Daivihi shugunamayi mama maya duratyaya. Mami vami prapadyante maya meta tarantite. But when we take shelter of Krishna, Krishna lifts us out of this blazing fire of material existence. Samsara davanala lila loka. And Krishna especially lifts us out when we serve his loving devotees. That's what a guru is. Shiksha guru, diksha gurus. There are many forms of gurus who are teaching us Krishna consciousness and how to live a life centered around loving service and compassion. And by following those instructions and taking shelter of that grace coming down through Krishna's devotees, Krishna extinguishes that fire of material existence. Srila Prabhupada described, Lord Chaitanya told Kurma that if you just follow these teachings, your occupation, your connection with family and your home will not be an obstacle. You will always be with me, and I will always be with you. And herein Srila Prabhupada describes, there is the pilgrimage places of Vrindavan and Navadvip Dham and Jagannath Puri Dham. But if we are, just as we could be with Krishna in these holy places, we could equally be with Krishna even in the crowded cities of Europe and America. Because we're doing the will of Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada so mercifully, he encapsulated all the highest truths of the highest scriptures and gave us accessible entry into the Lord's Leelas. So yes, this Radha Madan Mohan temple, if Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, Madan Mohan is here, that means this is Vrindavan. But through our dedication, our faith, our devotion, our service, and through the help of a community which we so desperately need to preserve our faith and our enthusiasm, we may be there, but we can't realize it. But without proper association, even if we're in Puri or Navadvip or Vrindavan, our mind may be very much somewhere else. So unless we're truly and deeply grateful for what we have, how could we really receive more? And I'm so grateful to all of you because you have such a blessing, such a supreme blessing in the form of your community. Thank you very much. May I lead kirtan for a few minutes? But I would like to say one thing before kirtan. We were discussing at the beautiful Sadhu Sangha retreat. It was such a beautiful, beautiful pilgrimage for thousands and thousands of devotees in New Orleans. But we discussed briefly, and I'll even be more briefly today, this idea. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's a sannyasi. And he's traveling, from Jagannath Puri to Kurumakshetra, then he goes all the way down through, he goes to Vijayawada and Vishakhapatnam and Ahovalam, and then he goes to Kanchipuram and Tirupati and Madurai and Srirangam and Rameshwaram and Kanyakumari, and then he bathes in the Payaswini River and Adi Keshav, and then he goes up the coast to the Janardhan Temple and Ananta Padmanabh Temple, and he goes to Udupi, Gokarna. Then he comes up to Pandharpur, Kolhapur, Mumbai, Nasik. 2 years he traveled. He's sannyasi. He's begging alms, just preaching wherever he goes, sharing the gift of bhakti. And Kurma Brahman is remaining home. And when we speak about Kurma Brahman, we're speaking about everyone that Lord Chaitanya that surrendered to him and that he instructed. They remained in their occupations at homes with families. So recently, we were part of a beautiful ceremony to open the house of Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Calcutta. He moved in that house in 1881. And one of his children was Bimala Prasad. He was 7 years old when he moved into that house with his father and mother, Bhagavati. Now, Bhagavati was such a mother. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was such a loving father and such an example. He was working as a magistrate, as a government administrator. In that house, he had 14 children. Bhagavati and Bhaktivinoda Thakur had 14 children. And they were all growing up in that house. And there was a printing press there. And he would write his books there and write so many of his songs there and meet so many important people there. And he established, his Vaishnav society to unite the Vaishnav sects. And he was 1896 from that house. He sent Sri Chaitanya, his Mahaprabhu, his life and precepts to colleges and libraries in various parts of the world. And Srila Prabhupada in 1896 was born. And just within a month or so of after he was born, he moved to Harrison Road. And after the British were removed from India, they changed it to Mahatma Gandhi Road. But during the British, it was Harrison Road. And it's only 1.4 kilometers by road to Bhaktivinoda Thakur's house. So when Prabhupada was performing his Ratha Yatras at the Radha Govinda temple, just 1 kilometer away, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati and his 13 brothers and sisters and Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Bhagavati Devi were all there. And if you cut through, it's not even a kilometer if you cut through those streets. So it's a very special place. But Thakur Bhaktivinoda was such a householder, performing so many responsibilities. Bhagavati and Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, he was a Naistika brahmachari who later became the most exemplary, renounced sannyasi. But yet, their respect for each other. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, when he took sannyas, the first ashram he started in Calcutta, he named it Bhaktivinoda Asana. This is the place of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Grihe tako vane tako sada hari bole tako sukhe dukhe bulo nako vadne hari nam koro re gai gaura madhusware. Bhaktivinoda Thakur cites Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teaching. You could be a grihasta with husband, wife, children, occupation, or you could be a sannyasi living in great renunciation. But if we chant the holy names of the Lord with great sincerity, we can become free from all the happiness and distress and conflicts of this world. So we have a little brahmachari ashram here, which is so beautiful. And we have such a wonderful, wonderful community who are working in this world, raising families, have homes. But how the community is so intimately respecting one another to serve together. I've heard so many stories about different programs in different schools and all. It's incredible how so many of the children here are deeply, sincerely imbibing the spirit of bhakti. That is so rare and so precious and so exemplary. It's possible because the mothers and the fathers are so sincere in giving such an example. Like Srila Prabhupada would cite his own mother and father. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would cite his own mother and father. Wonderful schools, wonderful programs for the children, wonderful book distribution, and families going on traveling Sankirtan. That's amazing. Going with their children, their husbands, taking their husbands along with them. Or wives, depending on. And happily coming to the temple and making garlands and singing and dancing and learning verses and learning scriptures and rendering service and distributing wonderful books and sets of books. And I mean, where else except Mountain View can the idea of distributing 108,000 sets of Srimad Bhagavatams? Is that what it is? Where else can such an idea even be imagined? Not only imagined, but with faith in the possibility, because you're setting such a beautiful example here. Thank you very much. Would you like to dance? Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. I think if anyone wants prasad, please go for prasad. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pastatya Desatharine. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Hari Go, Hari Go, Hari Go, Hari Go. Nitai Gaur Hari Go, Hari Go, Hari Go, Hari Go. Go Premanandi. Vanshakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patithanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Madan Mohan, Radhe. Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Madan Mohan, Radhe. Thank you very much.
Can we get a green mic, please? Green mic. Thank you.
Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming to our program here at ISKCON Silicon Valley. It's the rarest opportunity we have in this human form of life. It's very short. Geological time, we're only here for a few minutes. But as said in the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, a lavamatra, 14th of a second association with a pure Vaishnav, gives us the spiritual capital to attain perfection in life. We thank His Holiness, Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj, for coming here. He has hundreds, thousands of other places to go and invitations from people all over the world. We're extremely grateful to you, Maharaj, for coming here, keeping us under your watchful eye. And in this cynical world, everyone needs to see a pure Vaishnav in order to remain sane. So thank you for bringing us not just sanity, but great encouragement to follow in the footsteps of the Kurma Brahmana and spread Krishna consciousness from home all over Silicon Valley, all over the Bay Area, all over Northern California, and may it spill all across America and the world. Thank you very much, Maharaj. Please let everyone who would like to see Maharaj come back as soon as possible, please say Hare Krishna. Sharira Dvijaja Jodendriya Tahika Jibe Pele Ishashashagare Dharma Dedibayati Loba Moisu Turmati Take Cheta Katita Sanshare Krishna Bada Doyamor Gori Bade Chivaja Chaprashadana Dilobaha Shayana Vitapao Radha Krishna Gurmata Preme Dhako Shri Chaitanya Nita Preme Dhako Shri Chaitanya Nita Mahaprasade Govinde Nama Brahmani Vaishnave Sattva Punyam Vitam Rajan Vishva Sovam Jayate Prasade Sarva Jitkanam Maniyasyo Pachayate Prasanna Cheta Soyasu Bhuktivadya Vasishtite Kayopa Bhutta Sagnanda Vasudam Paracharchitaha Uttishta Bodhino Dasas Mahamaya Jayane Shukham Pushikam Bhapi Nityam Badurudeshta Prapti Matrena Bhuktavyam Natakala Vicharana Nadesha Niyamastatra Nakala Niyamastata Taptamanam Tutam Shishta Bhoktadam Hari Abravid Bhagavat Shri Mahaprasada Ki Gaura Premanande Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Please come take prasadam. Hare Krishna. Prasadam be served in the picnic area. Just go straight out this door, take a sharp right, and you'll be there. Hare Krishna. Bharapidam Natavara Vapur Karniyo Karnikaram Vipranasa Kanadik Kapisham Jayantim Chamalam Randran Venur Adhara Sudaya Punayan Gopavrinde Vrindaranyan Swapadaramanam Pravitad Gita Kirti Tavakatamritam Tapta Jivanam Kavibiriditam Kaumashapavam Shravanamangalam Srimadatatam Bhuvignantiye Purivajana Krishna Kirtana Nartanakala Pato Jani Brajita Navalihamsa Chakravadupa Shreni Viharaspradam Nandikaladhanirvahatune Jiva Maruprangane Chaitanya Kayani Detavalasa Lila Sudaswajuni Erondunika Kedaya Vishadaya Proniradamodaya Samyak Shastra Vivadaya Rasadaya Chikapito Madaya Shashvat Bhakti Vinodaya Samadaya Madhurya Mayadaya Shri Chaitanya Gayani Detavataya Bhujaramanodaya Yato Marahara Eva Hivaras Ta Eva Chaitra Shapa Eko Nilika Malaki Surabaya Prabhapitam Manila Sachaivasmi Tatapi Tatra Surata Yapara Lila Vida Vedaro Rasi Verasi Saritale Teka Sambuddhantake Shri Vishnu Shavane Parikshirabhava Kaya Sakti Kirtane Radhasmanane Tadangri Bhajane Lakshmi Pitu Pujane Akrurastra Vibandane Kapipati Daseta Stakyarjuna Arvasatmani Verane Baliravu Krishna Kudesham Para Aradyo Bhagavan Brajesha Tanaya Tadyama Vrindavanam Ramya Kachidupasana Vrajavadu Bhagena Yakalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanamayam Prema Pumarto Maha Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Matamidam Tatragarana Paraha Malanam Ashanindrinam Naravara Srinam Smaro Murtinam Gopal Siddhibhujam Shashta Sapitro Shishu Your Bojapate Virara Vidusham Tatam Param Yogina Vishvinam Paradevate Dividito Randam Gata Sarada Vaiyam Narakayate Tridashapu Akashapupayate Buddhantembriya Kala Sarpa Patari Lokatatam Strayate Vishwam Purnam Sukayate Vidimahe Radhishakitayate Yatarunyakatakshabhaiva bhavatam Tam Gorameva Suma Domam Duskarage Nirjalamaha Uparapayama Sadhyastamratayam Buddhi Pratikita Swarikiparajiti Buddhityatma Sarojamindi Charana Prantam Prapadya Swayam Sri Damodara Satchakara Tamaha Chaitanya Chandram Bhaje Asam Maho Charanarena Jusham Mahamsyam Vrindavane Imapi Gurmagataoshadinam Yadusya Chan Swajanamarya Patha Chahitva Dejur Mukunda Padavim Shrutibhir Vimringyam Evam Bhuvana Virahatura Visham Rajasuya Krishna Ishaktamanasa Rishibhya Rajam Ruludusma Susmaram Govinda Damodara Madhaveti Govinda Damodara Madhaveti Govinda Damodara Madhaveti Trayachano Ishascha Sankhya Yogeshta Sattvatai Rupadiyamanamatnam Harim Sanyam Yatamajam Go Premanande Nitai Gaura Haribol 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 Nitai Gaura Haribol Now really please come take prasad. Go Premanande Hari Hari Go Vanchagoplavrisha Kripasanbe Vacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nantakuri Vaishnavini Ki Jai Srila Radhanath Maharaj Ki Jai Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharya Stotara Satashishi Mad. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharya Stotara Satashishi Mad. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Hari. Dear devotees, we have to clear this room for a minute so we can get it ready for everyone to come back in here and take prasadam. So please just go get a breath of air and then come right back in. Hare Krishna. With prasadam. Go get prasadam and please come back in. Thank you very much for coming. We'll be here all night. Please feel free to sleep over. Hare Krishna.